Hey everybody, this is Russell Wilks of Muscle Voodoo, musclevoodoo.co.uk, Muscle Voodoo online channels, and today I'm going to talk about the simplest and most effective 5x5 weightlifting system for progressive gains. The original before I mention it, this question came to me from Barry Morgan, who's a guy. He's actually ironically, he's in Barry, which is a town in the south of Wales. Wales being a small Celtic country between Ireland and England, and is politically part of the United Kingdom. And ironically, Barry lives in Glamorgan, which is the county of Wales, and his name is Morgan too. And Morgan, obviously in the Celtic languages, means Morgan is someone who lives by the sea or next to the sea. And Barry lives in Barry, and Barry is where the Latin word barrio, which has now come to mean ghetto. Barry, the Welsh word, is where the Latin word barrio comes from, which means settlement. Anyway, that's your education for the day, for this useless nonsense. Anyway, Barry is a mixed martial arts fighter, and he says, I've been doing the strong lifts 5x5 for 7 months, but I'm finding I'm not making any gains anymore. I'm also doing mixed martial arts 3 times a week. Is there a better, easier, similar training system I could do? I like the lifts, but have hit a brick wall. Right, okay, Barry and anybody else interested in 5x5 as a system, you got to imagine that the original 5x5 system, it's over 100 years old. It's been around since the late 1890s, this 5x5 style training, and was most famously brought about in the 1940s by John Grimek, and then 50s by Reg Park, and people like that. The 5x5 that you've been doing though is based on the strong lifts. Now strong lifts is based on Bill Starr's original 1970s book from about 1976 I think it was, which called Only the Strongest Will Survive, and it was a book for off-season American football players to train 3 times a week with basic strength training. You have to bear in mind that these guys were either amateur athletes or professional athletes, and they're training in the off-season. Now, the strong lifts thing 5x5 is kind of okay, but it's basically a beginner system. I'm not slagging it off. What I'm saying is it's basically a beginner's system. And the problem that a lot of people find is when they tend to hit a plateau after about 6 to 9 months generally. The reason being is this. It's actually too much volume for a lot of people, particularly if you're a martial artist or a rugby player or someone like that. You know, someone who's doing a combat or contact sport and things like this, like you're doing a mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts in itself is loads of resistance work. I used to train mixed martial arts, and we did car pulls, car pushes, sledgehammer stuff, grappling, stand up, clinch and ground. It was very intense. Even just doing the pyramid press ups, going 1 to 10, then 10 to 1 again, is just knackering in itself. It used to take me days to recover. So I know what you're going through. So I got a few suggestions for you, Barry, and here we go. Okay. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to do the Grimek version. You're going to graduate to doing the Grimek stroke Park version, Reg Park version of the 5x5, and which is also made popular now by Matt Rippetoe, who's another good strength commentator and very worth reading his books and stuff. Basically what that means is instead of doing 5 work sets, because with the strong lifts and the Bill Starr 5x5, what you end up doing is you end up doing three warm-up sets about, and then you do 5 work sets. So if you're doing, say, workout A was like squats, I don't know, pull-ups, something else, blah blah blah. With your squats, you do 3 times a week. You do 15 work sets of squats, and you'd end up doing 24. What's about 24? Hang on, 15, 5, 10, 15 plus 3. You'd end up doing 24 sets of squats during the week. Now, if you're doing it 3 times a week. If on the other hand you're doing workout A, workout B, then it'd be less, but it's still quite a hefty challenge, and you won't recover with your mixed martial arts and your weights as well. You just won't. I don't care if you're an 18-year-old on steroids, you still ain't recovering. It's just too much volume to an extent. So therefore you've got to find a way of either doing slightly less volume or extending out the frequency. And I found with 5x5 that I ended up doing 3 sessions in 8 days, then 3 sessions in 9, then 3 sessions in 10, then 3 in 15. This kind of thing, because of the fact I just was lifting heavier and heavier, and I wasn't recovering fast enough. And no matter what to an extent, there's loads of things you can do to recover. Obviously, quicker walking, breathing, getting more than 8 hours a night of sleep, drinking alkaline pH 7+ water, you know, all this kind of thing, eating a lot, you know, this kind of stuff. You eat a lot, you eat excess calories to cope with the demands of weightlifting, etc. But even then, you've got to lessen the volume, and there's no reason as a mixed martial arts fighter you need to be training weights like 3 times a week. You can just do once every 5 days or something like that, and just do the basics. So use the system as it is. So you're going to do 5 sets of each exercise, but it's only 5 sets. And the first set is going to be 25% your 1 rep max. The next one's going to be about 45%. The next one's going to be about 55 to 65%, and then you do 2 work sets at the top with about maybe 75 and maybe 85% of your 1 rep max. Here's the diagram. So you can see that you've got this warm-up set in each one. Warm-up set 25, set 2 25 to 30, 35 to 45%, set 3 intermediate set 55 to 65%, set 4 work set 75 to 85%, and your top set is 85 to 90%. Don't bother going over 90% of your 1 rep max for a start off. Just stick with that, and realistically you want to be doing your top sets need to be about 80% of your 1 rep max, and just do 5. As soon as you can do 6 good reps with clean, you know, good clean reps with good form, as soon as you do 6, then you can add more weight. Just add 5 pounds for your lower body lifts and 2.5 pounds for your upper body lifts, and that'll happen every couple of weeks. Do not try, you know, refrain from really lamping it. Refrain from really pushing it, okay? Take it easy. The whole thing about 5x5 is it's meant to be a gradual progression, and it's meant to be a gradual progression so that you can continue to make progressive resistance gains longer than most other systems. Obviously you can't continue just to make continuous progressive resistance gains, because you would start with a deadlift, you know, last year with maybe 100 pounds, and in 3 years time you'd be picking up a 2 tons. It's just not going to, you know, you have genetic limitations, etc. That's why, you know, systemization and periodization and conjugative systems and all that kind of thing work. But for now, keep it simple. So the session is this. Session A, standing overhead press, back squat, power clean. Do 3 sets of 3 in the power clean because they're quite an intense exercise. So 5 sets of standing overhead press, 25 to 85% your 1 rep max, going up through the gears. Simple pyramid. Back squat, same thing, 25 to about 85% your 1 rep max, simple pyramid. Power clean, 3x3, so you'll need to start at about 20%. I do 20, 50, 70% your 1 rep max for 3, 3, 3. And then finally a bench press if you want to do it, or you can do dips if you don't want to do a bench press. Bench press is not necessarily that much use for a mixed martial arts fighter. You'd be better off doing maybe a bridge press, you know, going to a bridge and maybe doing a plate press. Or maybe, I always think that dips are usually better for any kind of fighting system, really, because you know, but that's just me. But if you like benching, that's fine. Good luck to you. So in that one, standing overhead press, start with that one. Then you do a back squat, then your power cleans, and then your bench press or your dips, etc. 2 to 3 times a week we're doing this. So I'd say two times a week for any kind of fighter, really, maximum. Session B then is a deadlift. Again, 5 sets of 5. Just starting at 25% your 1 rep max and going to 85% your 1 rep max. Then you do a front squat. Now I would suggest you do an Olympic front squat, not a zombie style front squat that are popular with the bodybuilders, because you actually want that extension of your back, etc. Also a really good alternative, and I love doing them, a really fantastic alternative for fighters, and bare knuckle boxers have done this lift for years as a carry squat, is a Zercher or a Zercher squat, which is phenomenal, which is absolutely I like that better than an Olympic front squat, and I quite like Olympic front squats, I quite like back squats, but the Zercher squat or Zercher is a fantastic lift. Again, 5 sets of that. Then barbell row, a simple barbell row, which, you know, a lot of people these days call them pendlays. It's a 90 degree, your back is at 90 degrees. There's lots of good tutorials online. I won't necessarily have to do a tutorial. There's a lot of good stuff, and if there's not, just ask me and I will do the tutorial on a pendlay stroke barbell row. Named, by the way, these days after Glenn Pendlay, who's a weightlifting coach in California. So hi Glenn, if you're watching. I'm sure you would have preferred a household item like a George Formby grill or something be named after you. You could have got $1 every time they made one, but you know what? A pendlay row is good enough. Barbell row. And then finally a barbell curl if you want to do it, or pull up. As simple as that. Really, as a mixed martial arts fighter, you want to be doing a considerable amount of pulling A lot of the grappling you're doing is pulling. A lot of the other stuff that you're doing is based on pulling. Even just throwing a roundhouse kick when you're kicking through and you're bringing your arms through, as such, you'll want to be, you know, getting that pull and stuff. And then obviously the rest of your training, you'll be covering, you know, the rest of it. You're fit and healthy and well. So there's your answer, Barry. Really, no more than twice a week, I'd say. Anybody else who's not a fighter or not a combat sport or contact sport athlete who's just training for weights can do this system 3 times a week. Don't do any more than 3 times a week though. You don't need to do it. Remember, people like Reg Park and Grimek, John Grimek, etc., were exceptionally strong guys, and they were had really fantastic muscular development as well. And these guys just trained this way. They 2 to 3 times a week doing systems like this. So finally, as I said, once you can easily do 6 reps, clean, good form reps, then you just up the weight by 5 pounds for your lower bodies, like your deadlift and your squats and your power cleans, and raise it by 2.5 pounds for your upper body lifts. And the purpose, of course, of this strength of this 5x5 system is to build baseline strength and to extend your continuous progressive resistance gains, so that you can actually train like this probably for, I'd say you could probably carry on doing this for much longer than the strong lifts 5x5. And I had great results of this, and I've trained people on this system, and they tend to be able to recover quicker, and they also tend to be able to continually make gains. They don't hit that plateau so quickly. Okay, so as I said, good luck to you and good luck to anybody watching. This is Russell Wilks. My name is Russell Wilks, RussellWilks. This my channel is Muscle Voodoo online, on various different online sources. Also, you can find me at musclevoodoo.co.uk and musclevoodoo.com, and you can sign up to the mailing list that's below. There's loads of really good freebies. There's a free 25-minute audio called Destroying Strength and Muscle Myths, where I talk about the difference between muscular development and strength training and all those kind of things. There's also a couple of other stuff, and I also 2 to 3 times a week I send out emails that are, you know, quite interesting. In fact, beyond interesting. They're really good. They're packed, rammed full of strength and training tips, etc. Anyway, thanks for watching. See my other videos, and good luck with your training. Ta-da.